everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here. So then, today, going to show you how to play the fantastic track Sweet Mountain River by Canadian retro rockers Monster Truck. These guys, if I'm not mistaken, have gained a fair bit of traction south of the border in the US over the past number of years. Mostly, unfortunately, on the back of Kid Rock's much inferior rap cover of their track Don't Tell Me How to Live. Now, as good as that original Monster Truck track is, this track, Sweet Mountain River, was the bigger hit here in Canada, and in my opinion, a much better song overall. Arguably their best. Let's close in here a little bit, learn how to play it, shall we? All right then, Sweet Mountain River and Monster Truck from Ontario, Canada. We are tuned down one full step for this tutorial, all the way down to D. Here's your tuning. Now, before we get to the song proper, we have the intro to deal with, and it goes a little something like this. So we're just playing this little melody line up the B string, starting on the 5 of the B, sliding it into 8, into 10, into 12, back to 8, back to 5. Kind of like that. However, the first 4 notes, you're going to catch the high E string after each note. And when you back it up to 8, back to 5, you're going to catch the high E with the note, right? Kind of like that. Then we're going to play this little descending scale run down the B string. That right there. 14 on to 15, back to 14, off to 12. Right, and then you're going to do the same thing from 10 to 12, back to 8. And then we're going to finish with this. 7 on to 8, back to 7, off to 5, back to 7. Pull that 7 off to 5. And then 3 on to 5, off to 2. And when you hang on that 2 for a sec, and then you're going to catch the high E string on the upstroke, right? Now we're going to repeat the first half of that, but an octave higher. Right there, sliding into 17 of the B, and then you're going to pick it again. Then you're going to go 15, 17, 19 of the high E, pedaling back to this 17 after each note. Back to the 15, and then back to the 17 to finish it. Right, and then play the scale run again. So that's the intro. Now we're into the build up to the main riff, which is also the chorus. This right here. And then we're into the main riff. So it's all going on here on the 5s and 7s of the A and the D string, starting on the 7 of the A along with a palm muted open E. Just 3 downstrokes, bum, bum, bum. Then you're going to go 7, 5, 7, 7, 5, 7, 5. Kind of like that. Bum, 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 bum. Right? Then you're going to move the whole thing down to the A and the D string, do almost the same thing, but start on the 5. However, the final note, you're going to go off to just a single note on that 5 and give it a little downwards tug before moving back to the E and the A string, right? Bum, 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 bum. Right? And repeat. Now, right at this point, we're not going to finish the riff. We're going to stop right there because we're going to drop into the main riff, right? So the second time we go down to the A and the D, we're just going to go 7 off to 5, back to 7, and stop. And then drop into the main riff. right there 5 times. Basically going down the D minor pentatonic, starting with the open E, 3, 5, 7, 5, 7 of the A, down to 5 of the D, and back to the 7 of the A. And then you're just going to go 7, 5, 7, 7, 5, 7. Right, and repeat 5 times. Now the 5th and final time leads into the first verse, and we're going to stop on that 7 like this. And then just slide out of it. And then there's this kind of call response with that riff repeated 8 times and the vocals, right? Sweet mountain river, come take me away. Well, west of the prairies, it's where I want to stay. Right, and that continues for 8 repeats of that. The 8th and final time leading into the chorus, we're going to do that. So we're going to do 7, 5, 7 twice, right? Just like the main riff. Bum, 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 bum. And then you're going to go 7, 5 of the A, 7, 5 of the low E, off to 3, and then we drop into the chorus. Right into the chorus. Bum, 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 bum. Stop right there, drop into the main riff again for 3 repeats. Slide out of that 7, now we're into the second verse, same as the first. Repeat that 8 times, drop into another chorus. With that little descending lick right there. Bum, 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 bum. Right, now this chorus I think is twice as long, so you're going to repeat that 4 times. And then we're into the guitar solo. So the guitar solo goes something like this. That is the solo right there. We're soloing in the D minor using the D Dorian scale. Here on the root note on the 14th fret of the D string, top 4 strings, 14, 11, 12, 14 of the G, 12, 14, 15 of the B, 12, 14, 15 of the high E. Just lots of blues licks. It's a very loose solo. I'm not going to pick this one apart note by note and fret by fret. Going to break it in half, play the first half slowly a couple of times, and then the second half slowly a couple of times. So this is the first half. Right, finishing on that 12 of the high E. It does not leave this box. This is a solo. It stays in that same box, that D Dorian box, the entire solo. Starting with a slide into 14. Lots of double stop work here, right? So that's the first lick of the solo. Finishing on that Dorian note there on the 14th fret, right? Into this. So you're finishing with a little roll up the 12s of the E and the B, string skipping back to the 14 of the D, right? And then you're going to repeat the opening lick again. Finishing on that Dorian note again, right? So up to that point. Now, to finish the first half of the solo, right there. So a little bit tricky. We're going 12, 15, 14 of the high E, and we keep pedaling back to that 14 of the B, right? Kind of like that. You're gonna have to roll back up to that 14. Right, and that's the first half of the solo. Right, into this for the second half. Finishes the solo. So we're dropping in for the second half into these kind of unison bends here on the 12 of the high E, 15 of the B. Kind of like that, right? Bending that 15 twice. Catching that twice on the upstroke, right? And then you're going to drop your pinky onto the 15 of the high E and then release that bend. Right? Into that. 12, 15, 12. Up to 14 of the G, and then roll down to the 14 of the B twice. Right? Into that. So you're kind of repeating that little double stop lick 3 times. And then the third time you're going to go back to the 12 of the G, not off to the 12 of the D, right? And then finishing the solo with this. Just a classic blues lick, bending that 14, catching the high E here on the 12, right? And then 15 off to 12 of the B. And you're going to repeat that 3 times, but the second and third time you're going to do double hits on this 12 of the high E. Right, finishing with this. Just 12 on the 14, little bend release off to 12, and finishing on the 14 of the D. So that's the second half of the solo. Let's take it from the middle here. Right, and from the top, nice and slow. At this point we drop into another chorus, initially just over bass and drums, and then the guitars come back in with this. Right, I think you're going to repeat that 4 times, and then we're going to drop back into the main riff again, but an octave higher for 8 repeats. Right there, right? Or you can play it here if you like. Right at the 12th fret position. I like to play it here. 7 of the A, 5, 7, 9 of the D, 7, 9 of the G, down to the 8 of the B and back to the 9 of the G, right? And repeat. And then that's 7, or sorry, that 9 off to 7 back to 9 twice, right? I think you repeat that 8 times in that position. Then we drop back to the original position for a number of repeats. And at the very end of the track, boom, boom, bum, bum, boom, bum, bum. You can just hang on that D note there at the 7th fret of the A, let it ring with a little vibrato, end of track. That is how you play Sweet Mountain River by Monster Truck. Certainly hope you enjoyed that, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind. Hope you're well out there, and we'll see you next time, yeah? Cheers.